The second half of number 10 Syracuse's season starts with its first in-state foe. Manhattan returns to Central New York after opening last year in the Dome. The Jaspers run into a way. Johnny Mullen, the new fogo for the Orange this season, a first-year starter just like McCool, sets up from the X and wins his first one to himself, matched up with Casey Klossner, and we're underway from the Dome. Second straight season that Manhattan has found itself in Central New York. These two teams met for the first time ever a year ago. Got denied by Hapward and Manhattan, but the rebound goes to Spallina and the Orange with 20 on the shot clock.
So Manhattan did jump into their zone defense. They're in it again now.
Dodge from the top of the box and a sidewinder saved by Connor Hapward.
5% for Syracuse, so Manhattan's going to need to take care of that ball.
Yeah, Mullen, number 4 in the country in face-off win rate in his first season as a full-time starter. If you're just tuning in, you haven't missed much. 3 turnovers and a couple big saves from Connor Hapward in the crease for Manhattan. And he stuffs that wide open step down from Hiltz. Manhattan.
Dupree, 66, solid player for Manhattan, their second leading scorer from last year.
4 goals in their latest win against Mount St. Mary's, but it's Liam Peabody who flies into the crease and ends up getting called for a crease violation. You know what? Off the right pipe. But of course, for Manhattan's luck, it finds the stick of English. Another fresh shot clock on a long possession defensively for the Jaspers. Roa finds the cutting English. Hapward midfielders in the modern era of college lacrosse. Dupree up against Riley Figueres, who leads the ACC and caused turnovers a game, redshirt sophomore.
Syracuse respecting Dupree after that 4-goal performance against Mount St. Mary's.
His best offensive showing of the year after he was an all-MAC selection last year. 10 on the shot clock, the sidewinder off the crossbar, the second chance bounces in, and Manhattan is ready to play. Jaspers the 1-0 lead. Heiner missed.
And put this back in. Athletic play from Heiner, the captain for the Jaspers.
1-0 Manhattan. Waning minutes of the first quarter, and the Orange need momentum if they want to avoid one of the biggest upsets. Left in the low-to-low, into the cross of Hapward and back out.
Syracuse playing 5v5 here.
Behind the back from Joey Spallina, his signature wraparound, stuffed by Connor Hapward. At UNC, Syracuse offensive coordinator Pat March and his connections with him at the Division III level. Shot clock winding down for Manhattan, 5 seconds. And they throw it away behind the cage with 3 seconds on the shot. Recruit has played more in his second year with the Orange.
Second midfield unit out here. Looks like Manhattan, they are going back into that zone. So we'll see how they play if they switch it up between the first and second midfield lines.
One of those second line mid, they've scored at least multiple goals in every quarter this year. And we're now 8 games in.
Yeah, I don't think this is the start that anyone expected.
You could say that again. Leo trying to create through the trees. Hapward.
Shot was deceptive with it, just bounced it a little bit too high off Hapward's shoulder.
The All-American weapon cannot stop Connor Hapward in cage, who already has 8 saves. He averages 14 a game. Only 10 seconds left, first quarter. Shot clock turned off, ball loose. Scooped up by the Orange, and they're gonna push.
See clock.
Crossfield to Hiltz, it won't find him. Just the 3rd scoreless quarter for specifically Andrew Giatano. Hiltz rips a wild shot off his hip, and it's high into the left.
The Syracuse offense is going to turn to guys like Owen Hiltz, 5th-year leader, one of those best offensive players. He's got to get Syracuse out of this little slump.
In the midst of the best season of his career. BTB, and that's how the Orange get out of their funk. Spallina to Trey Deer, and he does that plenty.
attack in place of Finn Thompson. I was talking about this earlier. Syracuse needs to get the ball from X back up above the cage. Spillane does a good job working this matchup. Treadier catches this, improves his angle by going behind the back here, wrapping it around Manhattan.
And that's not something we've been used to seeing for the Orange.
Yeah, we saw it against Harvard, but that was the only time that they really utilized it. They did it early in the game and had a ton of success with it.
The swim dodge gets Hiltz' hands free, but he's still...
That's going to limit Manhattan's ability to get into his zone. So we'll look for that off the face-off, how much Mullen stays out there.
Faking the step down, and now the spinning jump shot. No dice for Roa, but the Orange now playing 2 behind the cage. 20 on the shot clock. And a snipe into the bottom right from Spillane. And the Orange with their first lead in this low-scoring battle.
But against Hopkins, having those 2 players behind, they get this ball around the perimeter. Here's Spillane screaming one more. Just sticks this one low to low. He changes that up earlier.
To hit that mark. Second winningest program in college lacrosse history, by the way. Pretty good players have come through here.
Yeah, 200 points is no joke. Those are serious numbers at a program like this.
McCarthy with a good dodge from up top, but he missed wide into the road to play an undefeated Fairfield team, and they brought him into overtime. Nearly handed the Stags their only loss of the season.
Fairfield, one of the hottest teams in the country right now. Andrew Baxter's done a great job there.
Deere, another dunk opportunity off the lob from Spillane.
And just has a relentless motor.
Couldn't miss him either, but Ginger. Great player back in the day. Ian Nicholas alongside Stephen Rafis, former Orange All-American. As Syracuse leads Manhattan 2-1. Luke Roa, Hiltz, back to Leo on the run, and another stop, but not a second one. Trey Deere, he has been lurking on the crease all night, and another goal for the sophomore.
Earlier, he was catching a lot of the saves, gives up a little rebound here. Manhattan just has to make sure that they're boxing out there. Heads up play by Deere. He's got some of the best hands on the team. You'll see him grab that here. And Howard actually in black. Got to get the ball through him.
Back in the upstate area too, originally from Elmira in the southern tier. Obviously a lot of local talent on this Manhattan squad as they make their trip up from the Bronx. A little bit of trouble for the Jaspers in front of the cage, but the ball popped free, and that's what this team needs if they want to pull off a stunner. Jack Miller caught the lob and slammed it home.
Of a ball just bouncing his way, right place, right time. Manhattan had forced the crease a little bit. O'Connor not able to handle a good crash by Roa and Juan. Ball just pops to Miller. He's able to beat McCool low. Push odd numbers. They've been getting all those guys in. Even off the faceoff, you're seeing them play super defensive, just getting everyone back. Not looking to give up any easy goals. They're going to trust their 6v6 defense.
I mean, Syracuse the perfect 7 for 7 on the draw. Perfect 9 for 9 on the clear. Just fundamentally, like you said, Manhattan's doing its job. Spillane to McCarthy, and he puts it in. Just the second goal all season for the sophomore is Spillane trying to give Syracuse some...
They dodge from up top, get this ball back to Spillane, and just flash hard with these cuts. Tyler McCarthy, he set that pick for Cortez because he does a good job of timing up the...
Hey, you don't end up in the top 10 in the country for points if you don't have great vision, and Joey Spillane certainly has that. Always had over his 3 years with the Orange. Deere across the field to Spillane as the Orange have won all 8 faceoffs in this game, but still just a 2-goal game. That one snuck by Hopwood, and it's now a 3-goal affair thanks to Michael Leo.
Sliding here pretty early, forcing the ball out of the Syracuse offensive player's hands. Leo just able to get a nice dodge here to his right hand. Sneak this one past Hapward. I believe near side, Hapward got a piece. Good look back at some other goals that you've scored. Give yourself confidence, whatever it takes. But ultimately, if you're overthinking it, you know that ball's not going to get in the back of the net. You're not going to play that well.
Leo, All-American as a sophomore last season, former 5-star recruit out of Nassau County, St. Anthony's product. He knows he can get it done. Deer again, off a great feed from X. Those two, Spallina and Deer, starting to take over. 6-2.
Feel a little bit bad here for Matthew Pantorno, 21 in black. Makes a nice play, a little nice back check on Trey Deer. Ends up almost checking this ball into the goal. It's a nice cut that we never have to worry about. We always know he's doing the right thing. Takes the weight room very seriously. His preparation, trains like a pro. He's a guy that's going to have a really, really successful career here. Only a sophomore.
Came in with some promise, top 70 recruit according to Inside Lacrosse. Ooh. And that's a former 5-star showing just how good he is. And Luke Roa off his left hip, finding the upper right corner. And Connor Hapward struggling a bit here in this second quarter after he...
These last two shots back, he gets a piece of them. We're seeing Luke Roa back here. Able to shoot righty and lefty on the run. Probably the best offensive player for Syracuse in terms of 6-on-7. He did have a little bit of a 5v4 there. Elected to just hold on to the ball for a second, get his guys out here.
Well, Hiltz has his chance, but it's deflected off of Hapward. And then outside of his crease, he pounced on that ball.
Very crafty inside box player. Watch for him.
Yeah, they breed those kind of guys in Ontario, where the sophomore is from. His only career goal against Manhattan. Owen Hiltz, he scored plenty of goals, but he rings that one off the pipe.
Hiltz and Leo with a little hidden ball trick.
Sidewinder and a score. There is Michael Leo, sniping in his second goal of the night, and the Orange cash in on the advantage. 6-goal lead.
Goes low to low here to that low left corner. That's a nice shot on a lefty goalie. Talked earlier about adding some deception. It's a pretty hard save for Hapward from that, with him having probably his best season yet here at Syracuse.
Career high in goals per game for Hiltz, but he has not scored a goal tonight, just an assist. Hiltz trying to prove me wrong, but he rings one off the net. Second chance at a score for the Orange as a flag flies. Taking advantage out of that timeout. And the snipe from Sam English. Who else but the grad student Mitty?
Owen Hiltz went hard to his left hand, runs through that check, puts that one off the pipe, and just a heads-up play here from Sam English. Not only does he corral that ground ball, recognizes that Hapward's out of cage, sneaks a goal in there, his first of the night.
Up for half a minute. Roa rings one off the pipe. A bullet from the far alley, backed up by Greg Elijah Brown, who you pointed out, now a featured part of this man-up group with Finn Thompson out. BTB from Leo. Deer one more, and Johnny on the spot. Greg Elijah Brown. 2 career goals, both against Manhattan.
Beneficiary of some great ball movement by the Syracuse man up. Owen Hiltz playing point on this man up top. Syracuse moving this ball down the alley, throwing some behind the back, some skip passes, some one more. That's some very unselfish.
15 on the shot clock for Manhattan, who cannot break the best defense in the ACC. In a blanket, Dupree coughs it up.
Credit to Syracuse's defense. They're doing a great job. I think if there's something from about 16 yards out.
That was a crow hop and a half.
It's a confident shot against a hot goalie.
15 saves for Hapward. English directing traffic. Leo shakes a man off and scores. That corner was hammered, and Leo has a hat trick.
both Sam English and Michael Leo. And then Michael Leo just goes to work on this left wing. You know, he thought about this shot to start, hitches a little bit, gets this nice rollback, improves his angle. And I'm not sure Hapward could really see that one, shoots it around the screen. That's a nice end zone. You know, it takes a lot of communication and practice.
You can't have Sam English and Luke Roa on the field all the time. So that second line has to start figuring things out in the back half of the season. High to low from Heiner, the Manhattan captain, putting the pedal to the metal, even with the comfy lead. John O'Dearna, his unit plays for him. Tied for the best scoring defense in the ACC headed in tonight. Limited Hopkins to 10 goals. Just over against Damian Blando, all-conference long pole for Manhattan. Number 13 in the black. English shaking, baking, but not scoring, because Connor Hapward still
there for a second. Billy Dwan puts a lot of pace on that ball.
The college lacrosse world learned that the hard way last year when Dwan, as a long pole, scored 8 goals, third most in a single season for a Syracuse D-man.
He's got great hands, great feel for the game. His IQ stands out. Exceptional.
So does Joey Spalinas. Wrapping around and finding the upper left corner. Multiple goals and assists for Joey for Syracuse. 12-2 after number 22 does his thing midway through this third quarter. Roa 7 shots, just 1 goal tonight. Half spin and almost a score for Leo. Tied for the team lead in goals with 3 alongside Deere on the game.
Leo looks like he's getting some of that confidence back.
Ooh. Sneaking it into the bottom left. How did Sam English do that? Quickly off the restart, the orange catch, but Jasper's sleeping.
Sam English, he likes to go underneath. He's a right-handed player, but you'll constantly see him underneath, and he'll finish with that stick to the middle, that right hand back to the middle of the field, gives him a better angle. You know, he's
sitting into the bottom right corner, and O'Farrell on mop-up duty again.
These players are getting almost a full quarter out here. Showcase why they deserve a chance to play, and also for years to come. A lot of these guys on the field right now are on the younger side, freshmen and sophomores.
The elder statesman, Cortez, finding one of those younger players who puts it in. Wyatt Hoddle, the sophomore, with the snipe to make it a 12-goal orange lead. Hoddle against Utah.
Cortez doing a good job here. He's a senior out here playing with some freshmen and sophomores. Dodges hard, comes over the top, makes a nice look. Over to Wyatt Hoddle. Syracuse, Krishan Hunter, Tucker Kellogg, Barrett White. Seen them a little bit in spot duty this season in some of those early season wins.
And Kellogg showing off his laser beam of a shot.
Into April and obviously July 1 when some of it goes into effect.
The Syracuse Athletic Director John Wildhack already announcing the Orange are opting in. 30 on the shot clock.
See Owen O'Farrell here, he'll operate at X, pushing that right and left side, playing the quarterback role out here right now for this Syracuse offense.
Well, this offense continues to roll in the fourth quarter. Peyton Anderson, one of those in Anderson's young career. First since the Utah game.
Block 29, push, goal is good, flag is waved, face off.
His second goal in the last 3 games. Largest lead of the night for the Orange. Jaziel Rivera on for the face-off for Manhattan. It leads to a scrum, a shot, and a score. Anderson back-to-back for number 88. You don't draw it up like that, Steven, but you'll take it.
LaMonica out here, 20 in white for Syracuse. Rivera not able to pick up this ground ball, and Anderson just does a good job staying active. Like, he's got a nice little look, dodging aggressively. He had his own shot. Tucker Kellogg, another guy, you just saw him shoot that 40 in white here. He's got one of the hardest shots on the team, maybe the country. He was on man up a little bit last year as a freshman. Hasn't been able to crack that lineup this year, but a guy that could definitely make his way back there by the time his career's over.
Kellogg again towards the middle for Deere, and that's a proven commodity. A career night for Deere, his 4th goal in the 4th, 17-2. The young Bucks getting some run. And Trey Deere, the veteran of this group, slotting it in midway through the final frame. Ian Nicholas alongside former Syracuse All-American Stephen Rafis. And that Colgate game on Saturday starts an absolute gauntlet to end the end of the regular season for the Orange, where 5 of their final 6 opponents all ranked, and the only unranked one is a perennial power, usually in Virginia.
That's why you come to Syracuse.
Well, these young guys are starting to get a taste of SU lacrosse. Owen O'Farrell, just the 2nd goal of his freshman.
As a quarterback here, gets a matchup change and just goes to work on this wing. Does a good job coming low, then gets back to that strong right hand. And this,
just like Joey Spallina, the former #1 overall recruit in his class, McCabe Millen, the same deal a year later. But it's just not as easy as people would make it seem. I mean, last year he was playing a completely different role than he was this year in an offense that doesn't have Schellenberg. The Jaspers just 13 for 18 on the clear tonight. Hey, you mentioned it earlier. I mean, even though he was a guy who played significantly for you guys back in the day, Brett Kennedy, he was one of those players for your team who provided that energy.
Yeah, all the time.
Finally, Hapward's night over. A new goalie in the game for Manhattan. On the other end, it's Bryce Morris. And Steven, this one could have gotten ugly for Syracuse, but after that first quarter,
very solid.
The 8-day layover definitely showed its signs early on. The Orange scoreless in the first quarter, and then it stopped there. 18-2 the final. Manhattan. Rafis on Stats, Dan Shalom, our producer Kristen Hennessy, and the entirety of our ACC Network crew. Ian Nicholas signing off as the Orange take care of business in the midweek.